Aries Spears is that old head we all should hate.
Yo, what up, your boy Aries Spears here. Listen, I want to have a conversation with y'all about a word that I think is so overly used and abused. Hate slash hater. Because apparently I'm the poster child for the world's biggest hater. If you look up the word hate, it's my picture. When did we get to a point where unless your opinion, and last time I checked as human beings, we're all allowed to opinions. At what point does it get to where unless your opinion is favorable about a person or a thing and goes with the flow of everyone else, you're a hater? I don't understand that. Am I not allowed to have an opinion and voice it if it's not in the direction of everybody else? Recently, I was on Vlad TV and I did an interview and we were talking about hip hop and rappers, and Ice Cube came up. And I said, look, man, I'm not a fan of Ice Cube, musically or theatrically. I'm not a fan. And somebody sent me a clip where Ice Cube responded. He was on a radio show and the dude played him the snippet. And the first thing Ice Cube says is, well, most suckers don't like me. Then he goes on to say, I never heard of this dude. Then he finishes by saying, well, he's just not funny. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you don't know who I am, how do you know if I'm funny or not? So you can't have it both ways. And for the record, I respect Ice Cube, the man. I respect Ice Cube in terms of what he's brought to the game. He's one of the pioneers. So hats off to him for that. I just said I wasn't a fan of his artistry. I never attacked him as a man. I never attacked him in terms of his character. I said I wasn't a fan of his artistry. Why am I not allowed to feel that way? Why is that? And then secondly, it's always funny. People call me a hater because they love to highlight when I say I don't like something as though I don't have love for anything. Listen, I'm a fan of basketball. Just not a big LeBron fan. I respect him, but I'm not a LeBron fan. But I love Jordan. I love Magic. I love Bird. I love D Wade. So how come that never gets highlighted? When it comes to rap music, yes, I'm not a fan of Ice Cube. I love Jay-Z. I love Nas. I love Jadakiss. I love Snoop. How come that don't get highlighted? When it comes to boxing, I'm a huge boxing fan. I'm not a Floyd Mayweather fan, but I love Mike Tyson. I worshiped Ali. I love Roy Jones, who I know, and Roy's a fan of mine. So again, because I might not like something or someone, why is it hate instead of an opinion, a subjective opinion? Is that how moist we've become as a generation? That we can't not like something? That's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
What up, words? Boy Charles Brown back again, talking fact. Hit that like button, hit a subscribe and notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapps to CLBMG. Join the membership gang. Listen, Aries Spears is that Timberland boot wearing, do-rag wearing, shit popping, old ass 5 barrels. Salute to my New York people. It's no disrespect to you, but at this point, man, we gotta call it what it is. I didn't really want to do this video because I am indifferent about Aries Spears, but one thing I do have to say is enough is enough. This is why we have this culture war with old heads and YNs, because of guys like Aries Spears. And I'm going to break down why we have the Aries Spears of the world and where they come from. See, Aries Spears he was born in New Jersey, but he has this New York state of mind, this old 80s New York mentality when New York was dominant, and all he sees is this New York, this still to this day in 2025, he can only relate to New York being dominant. I know exactly who Aries Spears is. I know why he says the things he says, like Ice Cube sucks, I don't like Ice Cube. This was the dominant opinion of a lot of East Coast rappers back in the day. See, what a lot of people don't have the wherewithal to discuss is back in the day, but I do. I was back in the day, and I know how we rocked on the East Coast, and I know exactly why Aries Spears says things like Ice Cube sucks and things of that nature. what we need to do is peel back the layers as to what we're dealing with the Aries Spears. See, Aries Spears, to me, like I said, I was indifferent to Aries Spears. I've watched, probably, I'm not going to even exaggerate, I think Aries Spears has been going on Vlad TV for at least, I'm going to lowball, at least 7 years. That's lowballing. And I've probably watched 100 Aries Spears clips, right? And for a time, it was good. I'm just going to be honest. I have sat and watched him wax poetic about many, many topics. And sometimes he's interesting and entertaining. And sometimes you can tell and I'm not even going to say he's trolling. I think that Aries Spears is so ingrained in that old school New York philosophy, which, by the way, is the catalyst for what they try to pretend like there was no East Coast, West Coast beef, but it 100% was a real beef before Tupac, before all the magazines, like they try to blame it on Vibe TV, and Vibe magazine and all these different magazines, like they started the East Coast, West Coast beef. No, it was niggas like Aries Spears, okay? Let's just be honest, that was hating. I'm just going to keep it with a buck with you, right? You remember when your boy, what was his name? F. Compton, Tim Dog? That's the New York state of mind where no one's bothering you, but you got to come out dissing them anyway, okay? I'm just here to be the documentarian and telling you what's going on. What's happening right now is that I'm on the train and you are not, like, type of tough guy and salute. Listen, I'm right there with him. I was there. I was one of these guys who had this East Coast, they call it East Coast bias. Aries Spears is the living embodiment of the East Coast, bias in a human form, that you can sit there and look at it and say, yep, that nigga's biased. That's Aries Spears. But he's unapologetic about it. But now he wants to play victim and say, can I have my opinion? Nigga, you've been attacking Ice Cube for weeks, right? So this is what it is, and this is what we call, you want to hide your hands. He's not really trying to hide his hands, but he's trying to get sympathy and empathy with this opinion talk. Like, can I have my opinion? Aries gang, we have watched you trash motherfuckers for years. If you want to be the trash man that takes out the trash, you're the comedian that's brash and you keep it all a buck, then you gotta own that. You can't come on here with your readers on your glasses and say, I'm an old guy just giving his opinion. No, my nigga, you're a jerk that says shit mad rude and mad ignorant about everybody. And I'm not even here I don't care about that. I told you, I watched the shit. But I'm gonna say it's probably only one or two more guests that have more sideways opinions that get me more irritated than Aries Spears. Now, again, I know what he's saying when he says these things, right? But I don't know if anyone else has had me, and I chuckle at some of his shit, and some of his shit is kind of but I know where he's coming from when he says these things. It's not a position of, this is my opinion. No, it's that fucking arrogance that we're better. So he names all the New York MCs. Why can't I like Ice Cube? I like Jadakiss. I like Jay-Z. I like Nas. Why can't I have my opinion? First of all, your opinion is fucking biased. You're saying you don't like, you say you threw Snoop in there. A lot of New York dudes throw Snoop in there because, for one, Snoop was in that era where, okay, we can accept Snoop. It's not like you fucking like Snoop, you accept Snoop. Okay, let's just be honest. So what we're going to do is peel back the layers of why Aries Spears is an old head. And like I said, I'm indifferent about Aries Spears. I don't have no real issue with Aries Spears, but I have seen him say some of the wildest shit. And it's so East Coast biased, and it's just like unapologetic. But at the same time, gang, it's 2025. Some of that shit you're holding on to from the 90s, where it was all Wu-Tangs and fucking Black Moon and Buckshot Shorty, my nigga, and all that, MF Doom, and yeah, we love that shit. But it was a lot of dope motherfuckers from the West Coast, and a lot of shit popped off because dudes like Aries Spears, right, with the fucking wife beaters on and the baggy jeans, was like, nothing's fucking with New York. That's why Hammer made the record. You ain't hitting in New York, right? That's why a lot of people, Eazy-E said he couldn't get no play. Ice Cube get no play in New York. Ice Cube came to New York, got the Bomb Squad to do his first album to get that New York sound so he can get some fucking New York love. New York was stubborn. Scarface was saying that everybody from outside of New York says you couldn't get no love in New York. It's a fucking fact. And Aries Spears is the nigga that's what they mean by gatekeepers, right? A lot of motherfuckers popped off in spite of New York. If it was up to niggas like Aries Spears, you wouldn't have no other regions making no fucking noise. It would only be New York niggas and that's it, right? It would only be dudes from the 5 boroughs, right? And this is what it is. Aries Spears wants you to feel like, oh, I'm just my opinionated. No, you're not being opinionated. You're not being opinionated. You're standing in a place where you only think New York shit is good. And that's why people have a problem with it. I've seen this dude say some of the most ridiculous takes. It's all centered in 1993. Okay, that's the golden era. But it's all centered in that era. And it's all like, yo, this is the only thing that's good. Yo, I can't get with these young dudes. That's fine, you can't get with these young dudes. I understand that. But it is some good music right now. This motherfucker didn't even know who the Clips was. He just said that shit on an interview on Vlad. Who's the Clips? Let me know who it is. It's so fucking ingrained in his own bubble of what is fucking popping, right? It's one of these niggas that's still popping in tapes and shit, right? And now, gang, I got cassette tapes. I don't play them like that. I'm just gonna be honest. I got Spotify. I got Apple Music. I can play some new shit. So what it is he don't like Ice Cube because most New Yorkers didn't like Ice Cube. But what it is, Aries Spears is so caught up in that he gotta have a certain kind of cadence and flow that if it's not like that and if it ain't spitting that New York shit, he don't want to hear it. Ice Cube is one of the greatest lyricists to ever. Ice Cube is in my top 10. Okay? Ice Cube is in my top 10. I don't really do top 10s no more. I do top 12 because I need them extra 2 people. And Cube is one of them, okay? And what it is Ice Cube is one of the greatest rappers that have ever spit on a mic. I'm just going to be honest. Ice Cube has classic. He was speaking for the hood. He was the first one really doing that shit from that side at that high level, telling stories, right? My summer vacation, this and that. Go back and listen to early Ice Cube, okay? And real hip-hop heads know what Cube meant to this culture. What it is to come along with a guy that does misrepresenting this shit. I listen to a lot of West Coast and a lot of East Coast shit and loved it both equally. A lot of Southern shit, the Ghetto Boys and this, that, and the third. Virginia shit, it's shit from everywhere, gang. But this the kind of dude that don't leave the boroughs and just, if it wasn't for comedy, this nigga wouldn't even leave he wouldn't even leave the East Coast. He would just stay here. And that's the problem. See, what it is he's ingrained in, he's dug in, right? This the kind of nigga that'll come to a show and be like, everybody else is whack except for the New York niggas. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, I already know why he says these things. He's stuck in the past and his whole career shows it. This dude is still traveling, doing shows only in the black fucking spots where, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same shit. And I get it. He gets paid to do that. But it's the same shit he's been doing since the 90s, gang. He's stuck in his ways. His comedy's stuck in his ways. He's still doing crowd work, insulting the fucking people in the front row. It's like, gang, where we going with this, gang? I'm just going to be honest. I would really, if I go to a comedy show, I want to just hear your jokes. I don't need you insulting the couple in the front. Aries thinks that shit funny. I don't know who goes to shows for that shit. I don't need that. I'm just gonna be honest. My comedy is I need you to give me an hour of just jokes and shit that's entertaining. I don't need no more crowd work where you insulted. Look at his shoes, like nigga, this is not no fucking 1999, my nigga. You still doing that. You still doing that Def Jam comedy shit. I'm sure people love it. They want to come out and see that shit. I don't want to pay for that. I'm just gonna be honest. It's stuck in the past ass shit. But Aries Spears gets paid to do this shit. He gets paid to go and insult the motherfucker. Yo, you got polka dots on. Like, nigga, that's not, I didn't pay $50 for that. I can look at the nigga myself and insult him. I want you to tell me some shit that's going on in the world that's funny to me. Right? Not a whole bunch of sex jokes, this, that, and the third. I watch a lot of comedy, gang. I watch a lot of stand-up. Okay? First of all, I don't even see Aries Spears no stand-up comedy shows anywhere past 2016. So I don't know what the fuck you talking about. All I see is the clips he's put up. And like I said, I'm indifferent about Aries Spears, right? But what it is no one takes the time to analyze what's going on, right? Cube ain't got the time to analyze the shit and say, nigga, yes, you are a fucking hater. See, what a hater really is, and I get it. I get called a hater, right? And sometimes you just got to own it and accept it. You can't cry about it. You just got to say, okay, I do have a penchant to not like a motherfucker. I've decided there's certain rappers in this shit I'm never going to like. And I'm never going to say favorable shit about him. And if that makes me a hater, then that's what it is. I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to be like, can I just have my opinion? Yo, it's just my opinion. No, at some point, if you digging into a dude, that's like a Drake fan gets mad at me. He says, yo, you're a hater. I can't deny it. I can't get mad at him and say, yo, it's just my opinion. If I've been going 2 years straight calling this guy a bubble bath rapper and this, that, and the third, and I'm always on his ass, guess what? I low-key am a hater. That's what you can't deny it at this point. But this shit, he's earned that shit after his actions, right? It didn't come till after the actions got so ridiculous and it became apparent that this dude is not of this culture. So I've decided, okay, I'm really not rocking with this guy. All right? So that's where we are with that situation. So if a motherfucker be like, Charles, you a hater, then I got to eat it. I can't be making no emotional ass videos begging for you to like me or whatever. And Aries Spears has earned his fair share of anger, his fair share of disagreement. It's a lot of people that don't agree with what he says. He says some of the craziest stuff. A lot of hip hop takes of his be way off key, and he doesn't care. He stands on it, right? He stands on all this shit. It's all in fun, da. But at the end of the day, we all know why you don't like Ice Cube, because he doesn't fit the mold of what you expect a rapper to be. When Ice Cube was at his prime, he was a Jerry Curl dude from the West Coast, talking West Coast shit. And a lot of New York dudes like yourself was against it. Let's just be honest. Like, Cube had to go get the Bomb Squad, PE's producers. He had to go do music with them, and to get the New York respect, because New York was tough as shit. They were tough to get respect from anywhere else. It was tough to get respect even if you were from there. But outside of there, they wasn't giving you none of that. And that's what Aries Spears is. But he's stuck on that. A lot of people have moved on and moved past it. Oh, Eazy-E, he's dope. A lot of people start listening. NWA, okay, they dope. Dr. Dre is dope. He's there still in that bubble where nothing's dope outside of what I think is dope. And he says, I don't have no, I didn't disrespect Ice Cube as a man. Yes, you did. If you keep telling me what I'm doing every day, what I've been doing for my whole career, you telling me Ice Cube don't got no good movies, he don't got no good music, everything he does sucks, you're disrespecting him as a man. People try to separate the artistry from the man. No, you can't. Because if I paint every day and you keep coming in and you look and you be like, man, your paintings is trash. Like, at some point, that's about, you're telling me I'm trash. That is a part of me. If I sit there and do movies, Ice Cube been acting for 20 years. You telling me you can't act and da-da-da, and you keep saying it. That's the problem. Okay, have your opinion, but you go on every show, every podcast. You're starting to be the man that says, I don't like Ice Cube. That's becoming your thing. You're becoming famous for that. So if you're going to sit there and stand, I don't like Ice Cube. I don't like, at some point, you are disrespecting that man. So yes, he called you a sucker. You earned it. You earned it. He got the right to retaliate. He shouldn't even have spoken on you, but he did. And at the end of the day, he got the right to say whatever you want to say. Now you hurt, you got your glasses on, you got your phones up the long way. You know what I'm saying? Just like on some, let me have a conversation about, listen, gang. I'm just gonna be honest. You've passed that point where you can look for compassion and you can look for somebody to have a clear. People got a right, just like you said, my opinion, where they got a right to their opinion. You be saying some crazy takes that don't make absolutely no sense. I didn't take the time to compile them because I just know for a fact. Most of the shit, if you just go down Vlad TV's timeline, all of you and Vlad TV's interviews, you're saying ridiculous things that are very hurtful to some people, and they're very over the top, and they don't have compassion for the person you're talking about. But you're gonna look for compassion from us, the consumer? No, you can't be literally. He's like, there's a picture of my picture's in the dictionary beside the word hater. Well, you earned it. You earned it. You, Faison Love, and a couple other niggas. Every time we hear you're disrespecting somebody, you go on Vlad TV. Guess why? Because you're very opinionated and you're going to say things controversial and you're going to make people upset. That's why he brings you on. He don't bring you on there to be indifferent, be like, well, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about LeBron. He brings you on there to say, I don't like LeBron. You get 67,000 views, da-da-da. That's why you're there. You're there to be a passionate, a person that has his convictions. You're there to be abrasive, blunt, funny, right? And a lot of times, I'm just going to be honest, I don't be finding it funny what he's saying. But I be tuned in for the topic that he's talking about to hear him say this obnoxious shit. And it's always obnoxious. And like I said, some of the stuff is palatable, but most of it is not. And it'd be like, yo, you're speaking for the dying breed, which is this dinosaur that don't respect nothing new. He don't respect nothing, even the old stuff, even at the time. So you're mad at the new shit. You're mad at the old shit. You have a bubble. It's a very small bubble of shit. It's like the person got to be fucking the top of the fucking game of hip hop, or you're not fucking with him. It's just like, gang, you don't even know the lower level guys. You're not even like, it's so many relatable underground backpack rappers you could be talking about right now. No, you're stuck on some shit from 1999. Like, gang, we're past that. We're literally past you. We've evolved past you. There's been so much music. There's been so much movement, right? I don't even know where you stand on like Kendrick, Drake, any of this stuff. It's just like, it's like, gang, like if it ain't from New York, Bro don't want to hear it. It's this old man with still an 8-track in his car, and we're sick of it. What it is Vlad needs that. He needs you to be controversial. He's gonna like you to be like that. He's gonna like when you diss this and diss that, da. And that's cool. But you don't get to get on here and be like, yo, why can't I have, are we that moist that we can't have an opinion? Gang, it's not about you having an opinion. First of all, they're gonna react to your opinion. You know this, right? And the simple fact of the matter is, we didn't even get to the part where they put you in that movie as TP, as Jerry Maguire. You stayed him. You're still TP right now. You're still negative. You're still hating. You're the same guy. They picked the right guy for the role. You're the same guy, full of regret, full of anger. You've been told, you've shown us several times, you regret where you are in life. You regret your career. You regret the things you said and done, right? But you're still doing them. You could have easily been like, well, Ice Cube ain't my cup of tea. You're like, no, I don't like it. I can't. None of it is all trash. Da, da, da. And that's when it becomes okay as a problem. Yes, you can have your opinion, but when your opinion is obnoxious and you're disrespecting a living or dead person, right? Then people got the right to respond. And if you're going to tell me, yo, I'm doing what I want to do, well, you've already said on the Breakfast Club, I wish I did things differently. I wish I was nicer. I wish I smiled more. Da, da, da. Well, you got time to change that. You have time to change that. Your host Deborah when you were not host, but your co-worker, your co-host from Mad TV, Deborah, right? She was telling you, I believe it was a clip last year. She was like, yo, don't feed into all this money is everything narrative, because you were saying that you would love to be rich, that and the third, da da da. Well, all of us would love to be rich, but we ain't got to be assholes to be rich, right? You could do this without being all that and being just obnoxious, this guy who wants to come on here and get clicks and get views. You can't be both, gang. Right, you're going to either be Roddy Piper or you're going to be Jimmy Fly Snuka. You can't be both. Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Roddy Piper. Pick one. You can't be both, gang. You can't be the villain and the hero. You got to be one. You got to stay in character. You're a character right now, right? And everybody knows that when you did that thing with Tiffany Haddish, that hurt your career. Right now, you're lucky to be getting these gigs and this, that, and the third. And I know you were trying to do a parody, but it wasn't funny. So right now, you're in a bounce back. You're still coming at people. Ice Cube could have put you in a movie by now. But you're burning bridges and you're putting your eggs all for these interviews and for these gotcha moments, or I mean not even gotcha moments, but these viral moments. You love going viral. Vlad loves going viral with you. That's great. Stay that. If you're gonna be that, stay that. But don't act like don't put this all shucks like, gang, let me put my glasses on and I'm gonna film this video the long way. Yo, listen, what's wrong with having an opinion? I like Jordan. I just don't like LeBron. Like you saying in a soft tone, you be killing LeBron, my nigga. Like you be going crazy. So if you're going to be the boogeyman, the cleanup man that comes through and just says it like it is, and you wipe the record clean, then stand on that. We can't have you like you just said. You just tore Will Smith ass up, right? You tore his ass up, said it was terrible, it was awful. I guarantee you're not making no amends about that. You don't have no problem with that, right? But you know that Ice Cube don't deserve that. First of all, Ice Cube is one of the dopest rappers in this shit. He wrote for a lot of rappers that you say are dope. A lot of people stole his style. A lot of people wanted to be like Ice Cube. A lot of people got all the shit they got from Ice Cube with him standing up for himself, leaving that trash ass contract with Jerry Heller and NWA. Dre and them stayed in that shit and Dre ended up leaving. But at the time, when Ice Cube left for money, people wasn't even thinking about money. They was getting burned in that deal with Jerry Heller. But Q was like, man, where's my money? Q was one of the first rappers to stand up, going to record label, smashing up with a baseball bat because he knew what he was worth. And you sitting up here making it like Cube ain't a legend. And then you're like, oh, I respect Cube. No, you can't respect a man if you keep saying he's not a good rapper, he's not a good a movie star. You can't respect him. I'm just going to be honest. So don't say you respect me, but then keep telling me my work is trash. You don't respect me. If you respected me, you would never say the shit. Or you would be like, I'm just going to, you know what, I'm going to pass on that. I really, it's just not for me. You know how to say that because you said it before. It's just not for me. But no, you got to go in depth. You got to keep harping on it. You go on a different podcast. At some point, you don't like the man and you like saying that he's trash for whatever reason, this, that, and the third. But I'm thinking it's that old school bias. This is why we have these old heads that's always clashing. I'm an old head too, right? And I'm indifferent about a lot of shit. But at the same time, I know how to be respectful. Right? You really only got a handful of people that I'm really just don't like, and it's not a lot. And I don't expect you to give me no type of sympathy for liking them. I'm gonna go off about Kanye. I'm gonna go off about Drake. I'm gonna go off about Snoop with this MAGA shit he got going on. So yes, I'm gonna go off about certain people, but it's not all day about everybody. For the most part, I'm showing mad people respect. Ice Cube has done nothing to you personally for you to feel this way. And it's not, it's okay for you to feel this way, but for you to keep coming at him until he responded, and then when he responds, you go on this sucker tour. It's not cool, gang. It's not cool. Stand on it. I believe you probably should just leave a man alone, because at this point, it's starting to agitate him. And at some point, you're becoming infamous for agitating a man that has done nothing to you, right? You didn't say he went against the morals and codes of hip hop. The people I'm talking about that agitate me, they've gone against the morals and codes of hip hop. He hasn't done that. So you really have no reason to be on him. You just your personal preference, sonically, he doesn't do it for you. Okay, we get that. But at the end of the day, you can't just keep harping on a man and then be like, well, can I just have my opinion? At some point, your opinion is harassment. At some point, you're hating on this man because you keep bringing him up. Or if they bring him up, you got to go full on in. It doesn't need to be all that. You're doing too much. And this is why people don't like, this is why this culture war is with old heads and young heads is never going to end, because people like you keep coming in the screen, right? Talking about this old school bias bullshit, like nobody's better than your coast and da-da-da. And I really truly believe, like when I said you threw Snoop in there, that's a deflection. Old dudes only throw Snoop in there just to do it. But you don't really like no Snoop like that. You like Jay-Z, Nas, you like Jadakiss. You keep saying Jadakiss. You like that kind of shit, that New York shit. Stick on that, stay on that. But at the same time, respect other people. It's hip-hop from everywhere. Dope-ass hip-hop from everywhere. I like Ice Cube, okay? Ice Cube has made classics. I disagree with you, right? And Ice Cube does what he does in the movies, but he gets paid from that. This guy brought us Friday. This guy brought us a lot of stuff that people find entertaining. Are we there yet? In quite a few movies. Ice Cube has been doing this for, like I said, 20 years. Let's be honest, Aries Spears' last movie is a very long time ago. They're few and far between. So Ice Cube is doing something right. Even though you're talking about his acting, you could do the same shit, right? There's a lot of actors and comedians that manifested and moved forward into the theatrical world. You could have done that. But like you said, you were doing a lot of hating and being arrogant when you were coming up, which apparently you haven't learned nothing from, because you're still doing it right here in 2025. So let's do this. How about you do this? Apologize to the man. Say, it's just not my cup of tea, but I did go a little bit far in critiquing you. I should have let it go a long time ago, but I didn't. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. CLBMG. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. I feel like this is some old school, old head, good old fashioned, hating ass bullshit that dudes that come from, let's just be honest, it's not nothing against just average New Yorkers, but I know how they were back in the 80s and 90s. They were extremely stubborn and locked in on only their barrels and what they had going on, and Aries Spears is showing you that whole East Coast bias all over again. That's what this is, gang. It just is what it is. He knows Ice Cube. He's even dissing the man's best songs in the world. Like, gang, he gets mad love. You don't have the right to do this. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. CLBMG. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They got new products and flavors. Keep checking in. All right. They ship all over the U.S. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on The What Show right here on this network and 7 other streaming platforms. You can catch us all over the place. All right, I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.